character, courage, and confidence. And I'm going to share a little bit about my personal journey in life. For those of you who don't know, oops, we went too far. Okay, I think this is the wrong presentation, but okay. So character, courage, and confidence, let's roll with this. There are three words that you cannot separate. They always go together, right? We have our character, we have our courage to do things and take risks that we wouldn't normally do, and we build confidence from that. So there are three words, you can't take them apart, you always keep them together, and that's what's gonna get you through life. Try to separate them, they come back together. I answered an ad in the paper in 1990. It said, travel the USA, fun in the sun. I'm from Wisconsin, it was August, the leaves are starting to turn, it's starting to get cold, I wanted to get the heck out of Dodge. So I answered this ad in the paper. I went to a hotel, met a stranger, interviewed for this position. I packed my apartment up, told my roommates I was leaving, and in 3 days I had my stuff in a storage unit. I took a Greyhound bus from Appleton, Wisconsin to Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I met the crew in that city, and I jumped from city to city for 10 years selling cleaner door to door. During that journey, when you're knocking on doors, you have to figure out how you're gonna sell them your product, right? So in real estate, we have to figure out how we're gonna sell the buyer or the seller our product. But with Exit, we actually have a third component, and that's sponsoring, it's growth. And how can we find the need and fill the need? So during my journey with door knocking, when I would walk up to a door, I would look at my surroundings and see what was there. Was the garage open? Was there patio furniture in the garage? Was there a car there? Did it have brake dust in the rim? Did the guy golf? Did he have golf clubs in the car? How did the driveway look? Was there rusted oil in the driveway? How did the door look? Was there a brass doorknob that needed to be polished? Then when they opened the door, I looked in because I had 10 to 15 seconds to make that first impression. And I would look in to see, is there a carpet stain right there? Do they have tile that I can clean the grout? Whatever it is. We have that same 10 to 15 second impression when we're talking with a buyer, when we're talking with a seller, when we're talking with a potential agent to sponsor over or to recruit into our brokerage. So think about that, 10 to 15 seconds to make that first impression. So now when you're talking to people, you want to ask effective questions, you want to peel the layers of the onion back, right? You want to be silent, let them speak, let them tell you what their thoughts are. And you have to practice. To get better at your craft, you have to practice. So it's role playing, it's overcoming contentions, it's repeating, rinse and repeat. Character. Character is who you are, but your reputation is who people think you are. And sometimes our character and our reputation don't match. So we have to make sure that we're conscious of what our character is and what people perceive us to be. And a question to ask yourself is, do people trust you? Are you a trusted advisor in your community? And if you don't know the answer, you should ask. If everybody knows 5 realtors, right? Are you one of the 5 that they know? And Cutco just talked about brand recognition and name recognition, and only 10 to 15% of the people remembering your name. So when you do have that trust, what it does is it pulls and attracts. And that's what we want to do. We want to attract business. We don't want to constantly be going out and getting business. We want to attract it, because the more we attract it, the easier it is for us. We're not on the day-to-day grind with the hustle. Courage. Your courage is built through your character and through trust. And when you put those together, that equals that referral business. That's how you constantly make those leaps and bounds in your business. That's how your business changes. That's how you get to the point where you're looking to add an admin, or you might look at starting a team, or you might look at opening an office, a second office, if you already have an office. And when you're courageous, it inspires other people to be courageous too, right? It's the law of attraction, it's the law of the lid. John Maxwell talks about the law of the lid. So this is your tipping point. When you get to the point where you're attracting people, that you are going to tip your business. You start to multiply. People start to call you. You don't have to go out and call them. That's when you get more referrals, you get more buyers, you get more sellers, and what we all want, more sponsors, right? More recruits. Courage is your ability to do something even if you're frightened about doing it. So when you're doing something that you're afraid to do, the more times, the more repetitions of doing that you're afraid to do, you become better at doing it. So if you're afraid to fly, the more times you fly, the less afraid you get, right? So flying, take the pilot of your plane. You guys all wanted to come to Orlando for this event. If that pilot would have changed his trajectory 1 degree, you would not have landed in Orlando. And so by him being courageous enough to fly you to Orlando, you got to your destination. He did not alter his path at all. And with courage, when you take that opportunity to actually reach inside of yourself and be courageous, it's going to allow you to reach your destination, wherever that may be. It's the ability to do something even though it frightens you. I can tell you right now, going door to door, I traveled the country. I literally lived in a hotel for 10 years, just shy of 10 years. We had Suburbans, we pulled trailers, we pulled products, we had our clothes in trunks. We would bring portable microwaves because at that time they didn't have microwaves in the hotel rooms. I knocked on doors in strange neighborhoods, in strange cities. We jumped back in our vehicles, we went back to the hotel. I did it again Monday through Saturday. And then we jumped to the next city. That's being courageous, right? I took that courage to do that. But what that did in the meantime is it built my character. It built me to the point where I was not afraid to really try anything, because what was it going to do? I wasn't afraid to have somebody tell me no, because it wasn't personal. I just had to get to enough yeses. And that's what we have to do in real estate. That one decision changed my life. My family, when I told them that I was going to leave and do this, they said, "You are going to be a traveling gypsy? Are you absolutely crazy?" They were not for it at all. And actually, something that happened while I was traveling is I went 4.5 years without calling home, because the first year I was gone, every time I called home, they cried. And I said, you know what? I am not going to continue to call and check in if all you guys are going to do is cry when I talk to you. I just want to catch up, see how everything's going. I don't need the guilt trip. So that's about surrounding yourself with the right people, right? And at that point in time, they weren't the right people for where I needed to be, and it was my personal family. So sometimes we have to let go of people a little bit and let them master their own. So confidence, it builds my confidence. It allows you to invest in other people. When you're confident enough in your presentation, you want to pay it forward to somebody else. When you've nailed down the listing presentation, you want to teach somebody else how to do it when they're struggling, right? Or they're going to come to you and ask you how to do it. You're developing others. And then when you start developing others, it comes with empathy. Our company is all based on the empathy word. Empathy-driven company, we put people first, it's not ego. And when we're empathy-driven, it allows other people to be confident enough to come to us and ask us those questions. So now we're building others. We're building people up. We're getting them to the caliber that they didn't know they could do it. We knew they could do it before they did. So now you have the 3 C's to success. What are you going to do with them? Every one of us has a different dream. What are we going to do with these 3 things? Character, courage, and confidence. My recommendation in this industry is to stay connected. Stay connected in your community. Use the Spirit of Exit program. Work with nonprofits. Get involved in your community. Be the brand resource in your community. And then in our industry, get involved in the industry. Be in leadership positions. Volunteer. Leadership positions are volunteering, but I'll tell you right now, you'll get more out of it than you put into it. And when you develop yourself through volunteering and through leadership, you pour that into other people. And then you have the Exit brand. I mean, the tools that we have in this company are remarkable. Anything from the Resource Center. I guarantee you, I challenge each and every one of you to go to the Resource Center and tell me you know every single bit of piece of equipment, tool, technology that we have in there. Nobody does. You're finding something new every day. We have Annette Anthony, who teaches you how to use the tech. We have Bob McKinnon, who wants us to be better leaders. You have all the mindset trainers. You have all the coaching. You have the thought leaders. You have the Leaders Path podcast. There's so many things that this company offers because we want to pour into you to make you better. And when you connect with those three things, the industry, the community, and the brand, it gives you more time with your family. And what do you hear most people say in real estate? The connection they lose the most is their family connection. So if you can pour more time into your family, it's worth it just for that. Just that takeaway in itself. So now we stay connected, and we want to build our reputation. It's our reputation, it's not somebody else's. We don't want someone else telling our story. It's our story to tell. And we need to make ourselves famous in our communities. And how do you do that? You do that with Cutco. You do that with branding, marketing, moving trucks, billboards, smart cards, whatever it is that makes yourself famous, TV, radio. There's so many different things that you can do. When I was an agent, I was known as the purple agent because everything I did in marketing had the color purple in it. Everything. They went to the title company, they got a purple sleeve to put their paperwork in. I put the title company's paperwork inside my sleeve. Every single thing I did had purple. So what's your brand? How do you make yourself famous? That's your job. Your job is to make yourself famous so they know we're calling you. Now, how do you tell your story? How do you go up to someone and when they say, why exit? Do you let another broker control the narrative, or do you control the narrative of the story? Because that's our job. Our job as exit family members is to control the story. We don't want somebody else telling the story. We want to tell our own story. So we've all played the game telephone before, right? You get a line of people up here in the front of the stage, and I start at this end and I go all the way down, and what I told that first person is not going to be the same when we get to the end of the line. That's what happens out in the field. You may have told an agent about the exit formula, but by the time they told the fifth agent, it's not the same story. So we need to do a better job of telling our story. And that starts with you. It starts with each and every one of us. That is one of my missions, one of my goals. I was telling Kenny earlier before we started, I'm very competitive like he is. And so that is one of my drives, one of my passions, one of my purposes, is to make sure we're all telling our story. Why? Why do we want to tell our story? Because we want to control the narrative. We know what our purpose is. Simon Sinek start with why, right? We know what our purpose is. We know what our process is, and we know what the result needs to be. So think about if you approached someone and they said, hey, why exit? And you said, we believe in supporting you in business, in leadership, and in your career. We do this through the 5 pillars of success, growth, and security. We have proven that we can change lives both personally and professionally. Are you ready to change yours? Now I just ask them if they're ready to change their life. Do you think they're going to say no? No, I love my life. I want to keep it the same. I want to be status quo. No, they're going to be, tell me more. What do you mean by that? You don't have to get into it right there and then. You set up an appointment, and then that's when you sit down and have the story. But when you're having the story with them, you're finding out what their passion is, what their purpose is. Because then we find that need and we fill it. We have something in our toolbox that exit offers. And everyone has a different tool that they need in their repertoire to make their business better. So our passion is to get them excited, to find out what their purpose is, so we can find out what their why is, to then find out how we can be the solution, so you guys can all start building your legacies. I want to share a story about an agent I had in my office. She started with me, she was working full-time, a full-time job, and she started with me. She had interviewed at a couple other companies, they weren't accepting full-time agents. I said I have a dual career program, but it's a 12-month commitment. After 12 months, you can't switch over to be 2 feet in real estate. We part ways, no problem. 3 weeks before her 1-year anniversary, she came up to me and she said, Lori, guess what? I'm giving my 2 weeks notice. I'm in, I'm all in. In that 12-month period, she had doubled her income. She had sponsored in over 10 people. And she recently just purchased a home in Florida where she's going to be a snowbird and she's going to be dual licensed, where she's going to be working Wisconsin and Florida. I believe she may even be in the room. She's going to be working out of Scott Steger's office. There she is right there, Laura Lunke. She bought this home in Florida with her residual money, and she paid for all the improvements with her residual money. And she's been with Exit for a little over 4 years. That's her legacy story, you guys. And everyone has one. But we don't ask the person, what is your dream? Where do you see yourself in 1, 3 to 5 years? How can I help you? And close. We don't close enough. Ask for the offer, right? We always talk as a company that we put people before profit. And we do. That is our mantra. We put people before profit. But what I want you to remember is profit equals people. The more profit you have, the more people you're going to have. The more people you have, the more profit you're going to have. Profit is not a dirty word. It's not a dirty word. But decisions are made based off of people. And when you do that, you're going to have more agents. You're going to have more signs in the yards. You're going to have more brand recognition. You're going to have more profit. Okay? More profit. How would you guys all like to double your bottom line? I don't think anybody in this room would object to doubling their bottom line. I know I wouldn't object. I wouldn't even object if it went up 25%, right? So you guys are in your car, you're in your real estate car, you're driving around, you're looking for sale by owner signs, you're looking for expired listings, you're looking at whatever you're looking at. But when you're in your car, you're taking people with you. You're the driver of that car, and every car should have 3 more people in it. That's Steve's initiative, right? Steve Morris's initiative is for every single one of us to bring 3. Because sponsoring is sexy. I wanted to play that song, That's Sexy, and I know it, but I'm not a singer. But sponsoring is sexy. Sponsoring, what sponsoring does is it grows the brokerage. It grows the agent. It impacts the family. It impacts the community. It impacts the brand, you guys. When I travel and I go to NAR meetings, I want to be where we're walking in and we got 15, 20 exit people all involved in leadership, and they know who exit is. You know, they don't have to ask, they know. We show up in our teal. We show up in our pins. We show up. Sponsoring is sexy. Remember that. Sponsoring is sexy. Steve's Bring 3 initiative. Every single one of us should focus on bringing 3. If you're a broker, it's recruiting, obviously. If you're an agent, it's inviting and introducing an agent to your brokerage. Somebody called me the other day and they asked me, how do I compete with a 100% system? I go, well, that's pretty easy. You can make over 100%. Well, how do you do that? Well, the agent that you're trying to sponsor over, have them bring 3 people doing $3.5 million or more in production, and they're at 100% the day they started exit. Well, I never thought of that. That's how easy it is, you guys. But most agents don't know their numbers. They just hear they started at 100%. But then you take away the franchise fee that they pay and it never caps. And then they have a marketing fee and an advertising fee and a broker support fee and whatever other fees they add on top of it. They can truly make over 100%. And they can do that day 1. So I want to do a quick exercise. I am going to pull 3 people up here. I can't see names, so right here, black shirt, pull. You're going to stand right here. Ross? No, right here, because you guys are going to be running around. Okay, I just brought 3. Pretty cool, huh? Sponsored 3. Okay, you guys, now you have to go pick 3 and bring them up here. 3 people, spread the love. Okay, everybody's got their 3. Okay, now all of you are going to go out and pick 3. Ross, you go back out, get 3 more. Yep. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Now for the brokers in the room, if I brought this group of agents to your office today and say, hey, are you okay if I bring these producers to your office? Are you going to say it's okay? What do you think the trajectory of this group of people can do to the exit brand across this country? Every single office in the United States, you guys. We have that. It's in front of us. Thank you. There's power it all starts with asking a few questions. What is your dream? You know, Tammy gave me that book, I can't remember how long was it, 4 or 5 years ago? The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly. How many of you guys, show of hands, have read that book? My goal is for every exit office to have a chief visionary officer in it. And what does that mean? It's a free position, brokers, you don't have to pay for it, okay? But what it does is it gives another person in your office some credibility to hold your agents accountable to their dreams. Asking them what their dreams are. When you're doing your business planning, we're wrapping up 4th quarter right now. When you do your business planning, bring in the dream manager. Ask them, paint me the perfect picture. Where do you see yourself in 1, 3 to 5 years? What's your goal? Personal, professional, fitness, spiritual, financial, whatever it is. Ask them that question. You know, we do the business planning, then we do the vision boards, we take it that step further. This is that 3rd step by asking them what their dreams are. And then following up with it. So that chief visionary officer, that's going to be the person in the office that gets the group together once a month and they say, hey, where are your dreams at? How are you doing with everything? We just had somebody in Colorado. She was on the Thought Leaders series book that Bob and I did on the Dream Manager. And they did this in their office. And one of the girls, her dream was super easy. Hey, we're getting ready to sell our house. I am so busy at work, I don't have time to pack it. So they got 5 agents to go over to the house with boxes and help her pack her house up and help her with satisfying her dream. So some of the dreams are super simple like that, but they make an impact. So who wants to be a dream maker in this room? Everybody should want to be a dream maker. We want to make other people's dreams come true. We want to be dream makers for ourselves. We want to be dream makers for our family, for our children, right? You can impact so many lives by asking that question, what is your dream? Exit is the solution, you guys. We have a solution to the problem and we don't talk about it enough. Kenny and Stacy have done a remarkable job with this region over the last 7 or 8 years. Remarkable job, but do you know why? Because they asked someone. They probably sat down with you and said, what is your dream? What's your goal? Where do you see yourself in 1, 3 to 5 years? Where do you want to be? Because what does Kenny say he wants to be? Number 1, baby. Every single time you talk to Kenny, number 1, baby. And that's what we as a leadership team want to see exit. Number 1, baby. But we need to start having those conversations. Agents leave. For the agents in the room, your broker loves you. They're not doing any of these things. But I'm just use this as a resource guide for when you are talking to a co-broke agent, because that is the missed opportunity that I see most often. A broker doesn't have that relationship with a co-broke like the other agent does. And that is your opportunity, instead of emailing about a transaction or texting about a transaction and never seeing the other agent personally through the whole transaction or having any voice-to-voice conversation, start picking up the phone. Start saying, hey, it was great working with you. This has been a smooth transaction. Let's go get a cup of coffee. Hey, are you going to be at the closing table? I have a gift for you. Simple things like that. Agents leave because of leadership. Agents leave because they have health or emotional concerns. They're going to tell you during the transaction what these things are, what's bothering them. They may love their broker today and they may get pissed off at them tomorrow and they're going to want to leave. You just have to be top of the mind awareness, just like for your real estate, that sellers and buyers know who you are. The agents need to know who you are and why exit. There's a couple of things that I've noticed for agents. They get a little scared and they're not courageous enough to ask another agent to come over to exit. So if you're an agent in the room and you're either newer or you're struggling because you're just not getting your feet wet, or you got to the point where you're getting so big that you need help and you don't know if you should hire an admin or start a team or whatever you're struggling with, sometimes there's power in reaching out to an agent that you know in your community that's getting up in age that may be looking to retire in 1, 3 to 5 years. Do they have a succession plan in place? 87% of real estate agents leave the business and never sell their business. That is an NAR stat. 87%. So 87 out of 100 people are in real estate for 20, 30, 40 years, and they walk away from it. They don't do anything with it. So that's an opportunity for you to walk up to them and say, hey, I'm interested in buying your business. I want you to come over to Exit. I want to mentor with you. And this is the plan we're going to put in place so that I can purchase your business whenever you're ready to retire. And while you're retired, you can enhance your income by sponsoring people over into the Exit system. Secure and sell. If you're an experienced agent in the room and you're to the point where you want to retire, you just reverse it out and you pull an agent that you did a transaction with that did a really great job, great communication skills, got systems in place, you know they're coachable, and you bring them over to train them on how to run your business. So when you're ready to get out of the business, you have someone that you can sell it to. And then the third is boost and produce, and that's when you have an agent who is either new or struggling and they want to team up with someone, and you had a great transaction with someone in another company. I actually did this in my office. I had two girls. They were both struggling solo, but when they came together, their business quadrupled. And the reason why is because their skills offset each other. One was DC, one was IS. So the squirrel went out and got the business, and the nut hatcher, she stayed in the office and did all the paperwork, right? So you match them up, you learn their personality styles, you figure out how you can help them achieve their dreams. Because that's really what we are as broker owners. We're dream makers. As agents, you're dream makers. You're dream makers to the client, and you're a dream maker to another agent. I use this quote, John Maxwell. I started doing John Maxwell training about 5 years ago, and each year when you go, you create your own quote, and this was my first year quote. Fear is temporary, but regret is forever, right? I don't want to look back in my life. I just turned 50 during COVID. It sucked. I was supposed to go to Greece, never got to go. But I don't want to look back in my life and have any regrets. I don't want to look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that. I'm going to do it. And whether it works out and it panned out and it was a win for me or a triumph, or if I learned a lesson from it, it's okay, because I did it, right? Our trajectory with this company is astronomically high. We have the right people in the room. We have the right leadership team. We have the right systems in place. We have the right coaches behind you, the right trainers behind you. Every single one of us wants to see each other succeed. And you do not see that at other brands. As Cammie says, I'm going to close out. It is our time. It's our time to get the front of this room filled up like we just did in every single brokerage across the United States. It's our time to be number one, and that, you guys, is how I want to end today. I want to tell you I appreciate each and every one of you. I've been in your shoes. I know what it's like. If you ever need anything at all, please feel free to reach out to me. We're growing people, we're changing lives, you guys, and we're creating opportunities. Thank you so much.
International has 20 executive team members, 13 of which are women.